Hello everybody, HiJason8 here, and today we're gonna be going over a different kind of video. So with GFest canceled and all, I want to look over some of, if not all, of the matches that I have um, in footage. So some of these are on my channel, but I wanted to give my thoughts about it. Um, and the videos will be muted, just so that you can hear me clearly. Um, and I'm really just gonna be, just sort of giving my thoughts and sort of an analysis of how me and the opponent are playing. Uh, so we have a lot of footage to go over. So I sit back, have a drink, have a snack, or heck, even have a meal because we're gonna be here for a while. And really, this is just so this is just so that I can go over some of the matches and really just show of how far I've come. And keep in mind, these are going to be tournaments that I've won in, because I don't have any footage of tournaments I lost. The first and second, most definitely. 2018, I did have a video, but I really didn't want to share it. So, yeah. So these are tournaments that I won in, um, and I'll be going over them. So sit back and enjoy, because we're gonna be here for a while. So the first battle we have here is part one of my second to last match. So it's not the full match, as you can see here, but just to kind of show. So I'm Mogira, and my opponent is Megalon. This battle was extremely difficult because this was actually the champion of a few years. So Megalon here was extremely difficult. My first Megalon, and oh boy, was it difficult. Because as you can see here, it's neck and neck. So I really had to play carefully with how I work, with my moves, and how I use my energy. Basically, just making sure that I don't get hit, because Mogira is a monster that doesn't have too much health. So I really need to be careful of that. Now, I don't know if this is the part where I lose, but I'm not sure. If it is, then it's a battle where I really could have won. I think this is. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, so, okay. So I think the opponent, or she was getting really desperate. I don't know if you can see her, but she was really getting desperate by going into burning, which is understandable because you are losing. Not only this, but she has like the ice skating glitch, which is very useful for sure. Now I'm not too sure what I'm doing here. If I could be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I could have easily won this just by using my energy. Now I guess I. What am I doing? Golfer, you fool! I don't get what I'm doing here, to be honest with you. I think I'm being really reckless in how I am. So okay, so I am in. Okay, so I did. So I did leave her vulnerable by going back into normal. So at least I did that. And you know what? No, I think this is actually the. Is this the battle I won? I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen this battle, but as you can see here, she loves using a burning wall, which is definitely a good strategy for sure. Oh my god, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not supposed to freaking taunt. Yeah, but now I was going a little bit too physical because she was on her last leg. And yeah, as you can see here, you can see the desperate sort of look to her because she has she's picking up the rocks, and yeah, and yeah, she's being really stubborn, and she burrows into the ground. Which basically, like, I'm on her tail at this point because it's the last leg, and yeah, okay. So here's one thing I don't like to do nowadays is use rocks or obstacles. I guess I hate using like rocks and buildings. That's something I don't like to do nowadays. So now she's behind the wall. I'm trying to figure out a way to get her to get out of there. So, and I think I use a really weird trick here. Yep. So that is the first match. And now I guess we'll be going into the second match in just a little bit. Okay, now the second match here doesn't have... Yeah, as we can see here, it's not the full match, it's only like 40 seconds, but as you can see here, yeah, we're in the same situation as I was before, and I'm stuck. Like, I didn't know what to do. And I don't know what I was trying to do. Like, I guess I was trying to be too physical. I guess that's just it, and that costed me the match. I really... What am I doing? Yeah, I don't know. So this one was a really weird one for sure, so not something I'm proud of, to be honest with you. And here we go, the final battle. So, once again, like, okay, like we're not in the full thing, but at the very least, it's most of it. But this is the final battle, and we have 5 minutes to commentate over this. So, yeah, here we go. So, this is the final battle, and I don't know if I was just emotionally, like, exhausted from the other one, but yeah, like, I I don't know. Like, I guess I was just getting really stressed out because look at this. I already lost a bar of health, and it's not even like a minute into the match. And I do apologize for the shakeage, but yeah, I think this battle was just it was difficult for me. Like, it really was because I didn't know what I was doing. I guess I was just I guess for the first time I was kind of fearful because honestly, like I just didn't know what to do. And as you can see here, I was making so many mistakes left and right. But yeah, look at this. This is yeah, it's just burning and crashing. Cuz I'm at 2 at this point and she's back at full health. And she's back at full health. And I try to be physical. So where are we? Okay, now so I'm getting really physical. Look at this, but I couldn't take off that last bar. And look at this. I'm at one final bar. So you're probably thinking, dude, you already lost. Just forfeit. So I think at one moment, like I just needed to take a breather to calm down. And I think this is where I started to like really try to calm down. Because look at this. I was getting slaughtered. So I had to really think. Like, I had to really think about it. Because look at this. I was getting slaughtered, and she is still at full health. Well, -1, but still. So I think at one point, I just closed my eyes and took a breath. Yeah, here it is. So I had to really concentrate because this was the point like I needed to like rethink and strategize because at this point I wasn't going to win if I kept on being like this. If I kept on being reckless and not thinking straight, I needed to think. So at this point I had to hit and run. So this is a strategy I don't like to do, but this was something that I had to like I needed to win or not needed to win, but I really wanted to win. So I had to take a a kind of cowardly strategy. I will admit, but it was a strategy I had to do. So she's fully charged. She has a lot of bars of energy, and she's able to make her wall. However, I kind of get in close, and yeah, look at this. So, so by hitting and running as well, well, it's not really a hit and run. It's keeping my distance. I guess you could say. Um, like I use the bar, and she tries to get close to me whenever like I'm in a position. And look at this, neck and neck once again. It's once again neck and neck, and oh boy, this is an intense match. Every time I come back to it, it's intense. So at this point, like her boring into the ground, it's not gonna do anything. She's behind a larger wall this time, to where I can't even use my trick again. In fact, I don't think there's anywhere where I could have used my trick. So really, like at this point, like nothing was gonna happen. So I needed to get her out of there. Like I needed to lure her out, and that was where I lured her out. I think she needed to take it to. I think she needed to take a minute to strategize as well, because at this point none of us were going to win. It was going to end like in a tie, I suppose, and no one was going to win. So we just had to brawl it out. So at this point, I think she was going in the offensive too, as well as the defensive, using her wall there. And basically, like, and I guess I was just like, I guess I just had enough of it, and I guess I was going physical, because I wasn't going to lose this match. I had gone so far, and I didn't want to lose. So at this point, like, look at this. Like, I'm close to death here. I'm so freaking close to death, and the military is on my case. So, and at this point, like, this was where I took the opportunity to win. So, oh my god, it's so close. Oh, look at this. And then, boom, victory. So overall, man, but this was such a close fight. It was super close, and I think, oh man. So either way, I think this was probably the most difficult match I've ever had thus far, and I'm willing to say that. I am willing to say that this was probably one of the best matches I've ever had in my entire life, and I congratulate that person for teaching and giving me probably the greatest match I've ever had in my entire life. So thank you to that person if you're watching this. Okay, so now on to the finals, where we are in the middle of the I guess the first or second match. I don't know, but in this one though, a little bit of a spoiler, but I actually do lose. So I'm Orga and he's Varen. So like okay, so this and the previous match were probably my most difficult thus far. And I'm sorry for the shaggy, but I wasn't recording it, so there we go. But yeah, but as you can see here, the guy just loves spamming his spinning attack. And unfortunately, yeah, like I just said, I do lose because, man, he just loves to spam it. Which is something I don't like to do personally, but I could definitely see it. And that's another thing I don't like, is using buildings. So pretty much, this was such like, it was kind of a back and forth match to like where like really like, again, like it could really just be like anyone's game if I could be truthful. And I don't know what I was doing right there. No idea. Anyhow, so yeah, definitely a big mistake on my part for trying to run away right there. And here we go, the finals of the finals. So, like the last one, we definitely got a lot. So at this point, I won and he won a match. So now, like the last one, it's neck and neck. Oh boy, this one was intense too. Like, I think both of them are equally as intense. I get like each time I watch these, I'm on the edge of my seat just because of how close they are. And there he is again with that roll. It's an effective strategy for sure, because Baron has debatably the best grab in the game. He even says sorry right there. But yeah, trying to trying to beat the strategy is a little bit difficult for sure. So I had to make sure that I could keep my distance once again, as well as trying to get up close and personal because that's the only way I could beat him at this point. And I didn't want to get spammy with my the paralyzing goo as it's called. So I tried to play as fairly as I could, and that was unlucky that he got pinned right there. So I'm not too sure why I didn't uppercut right there, but oh well. So and don't get the wrong idea that just because he's getting lower and lower, that he's going to instantly lose. Because as you can see, the tide of the battle can change like a lot. And as you can see here, his running away is definitely effective. And while I am able to fend off his grab, and what was I doing there? But as you can see, he grapples me and uses the roll, and then he does it once more to try and take away my health. Yep, there it is. Oh, almost takes me out. There we go. And yeah. So he tries to mimic what I did, which was try to run away and then make a comeback. I'm not entirely sure why he went for the health right there. But I guess for right now, as you can see, so, and there we go, I get him. So I kind of ground him for a split second right there, and then he runs away. So once again, an effective strategy, and it does get me because Orga is a slower character, so definitely doing it is an effective strategy to try and rile up the opponent for sure. And I think I could have kept up with him, but again, like I wasn't in the mind. I don't think I was in the right mindset because I was like on an adrenaline rush, and as you can see here, like I just wanted to get up close and just beat the heck out of him. And I think I could have ended it, but he grapples me. So, and yeah, we have 2 more minutes of this. So, as you can see, it's gonna be close for sure. Tries to grapple me again, but I fended off. And, missed it. Just barely missed the paralyzing goo. And, don't tell me. Yep, I'm going to try and use the building again. Great. So, at this point, I was trying to make sure that I wasn't going to waste the building, and sure enough, I do. Fend off his grapple, and then I get him back on the ground. It's like, get over here. So, I think at this point, it's neck and neck. Like, it's definitely neck and neck. So, at this point, in order for me to win, I have to make sure that I can, for one, make sure that I can, keep him on the ground, for a long amount of time to where I could beat him. But for him to win, it's a lot easier because all he has to do is just grapple me, and that's it. Just 2 grapples, and I'm finished. That's basically it. But he has to get me at the right time to where I'm vulnerable and I can't think. And oh my god. So right there, I feel like that's the pivotal point where I pretty much win. And I grapple him and back. And I think at this point I pretty much win. No, he runs away. Darn. So, like, I could have just done that. Like, I could have just, like, used the running kick, I guess. But, no, I just opted to go for the building. And I think this is where it ends. Yep. That's where it ends. So, definitely a great match for sure. And yeah, I cut off the match right there. So, Once again, definitely one of the best matches. It's tied, I think, with the previous match for probably the point where I was becoming a champion essentially. So so that was the final match, the final round pretty much, and I cannot thank both of the players enough for pretty much shaping me into what I am now, which is pretty much at this point the Unleashed King. Like I can try and honor their battles by proving to them that I am a champion and I can like respect their legacy by being the best I can and pretty much like defending their honor as great players in in this tournament. So to those players, if you guys are watching, thank you guys so much for a fantastic battle. And thus ends the tournament of 2015. And yeah, now on to the tournament of 2017. Alright, so now on to the first match of 2017. So my opponent here is Mechagodzilla, and I am Megaguirus. This is where I started to really become a Megaguirus main. Well, okay, no. I actually take that back. In 2015 was when I started to use Megaguirus more, and I realized she is probably my best character in the game. And it's shown here that, good lord, she can be a terrifying opponent for sure. As you can see, like I just use I basically use my speed and physical prowess to get my opponent like on the edge. And as you can see here, I've already taken a health away from them, and it hasn't been a full minute yet. I mean, yeah, sure, the opponent is like on my tail, but at this point, like it doesn't even matter. Like I've become, or I'm pretty much like so offensive to the point where like I'm so in your face, and like I can easily break your defense, pretty easily. Um, Now my opponent, now okay, I'm not gonna say the strategy is bad, but I think the opponent's strategy here is a little bit too uh what's the right term? I guess a little bit too like a little bit too defensive, I feel. Because for one, she's using her shield. I guess it's because of the grapple that I used, and she's thinking that I'm going to steal her energy and then use the beam, which I think may have been what. Well, I think that's what was going through her mind, but I'm more of a physical attacker, as you can see here. Like I'm just going on full physical to the point where like I pretty much break her defense pretty easily. Like look at that. 2 minutes in, and I just won the match. And on to round two. It's pretty similar. She tries to use the beam, but I instantly stop it. And she tries to get behind the building, but I pretty much break through that sort of defense. And I don't know, like I guess at this point I was like I guess I was just going on the full offense because look at this. Like I'm I'm pretty offensive here. Like I'm very uncharacteristically offensive. Like this is really different from from how I was before, like in 2015. But I guess the reason why is because 2016 I couldn't participate um because of family events where I had a lot to train or a lot of time to train, and and um and there was a champion already that I needed to defeat. So as you can see here, I am struggling a little bit, but not too much. Like I feel like my opponent here was just a little bit like I don't know, like they were just a little bit too easy to read, I suppose. and I was able to break through their defenses rather easily. So I think what I can recommend to the opponent here is try to use the missiles a little bit more and a little bit more of like the helicopter attack, because that's a good attack to fend off your opponents. And yeah, my big finisher is using my speed boost, my berserk mode, and finishing off. So I think she's a good opponent, or my opponent was good, but I feel like she could have had a better strategy. Now on to round two, and funnily enough, our opponent here is Mechagodzilla 2, and I take a while to pick. So originally, the opponent was going to be Varen, but they decided to go with Mechagodzilla 2. Um, and let's just say that I think Varen would have been a little bit harder, but this one wasn't too bad either. So, alright. So let's go right into it, and I guess I'm taking a little bit of time to pick a location. Yep, I guess we go with Sydney. Alright, so this one I feel like was a little bit harder than the last one. Not by much, but it was still a little bit more difficult. So, so let's get straight into it. So already I can kind of see already that my opponent was a little bit like the last one, where they were a little bit too easy to read. However, I feel like they were a little bit more like, I guess, a little bit more offensive. Uh, Now, okay. Once again, the strategy is not bad, but I feel like it could use a little bit of work, as we can see here. Like, okay, like they're not bad. I feel like they're a good mix of balance, where they're a little bit defensive but a little bit offensive, as we can see here with the grapple. That's a good strategy. That is a good strategy if you were a little bit um if you had a little bit more like power. Like, okay, here's what I mean. Against someone like Megaguirus, I feel like using the beams a little bit it could I think it could leave you a little bit vulnerable. But I feel like if you had me on a lower like health, I think you could have taken a bar right there, and that would have been effective. Now I notice here that he does run away a lot. Not entirely sure why. And do I use the building? Okay, no. So he picks up the building and tries to use it, but it doesn't work out in the end. So this battle's a little bit weird because again, like, he's sort of balanced. He has defense, but he has offense as well. But he does try to run but he does try to run away, and he does a little bit of a better job at it. Excuse me, but overall, I think personally, I think he could have had a little bit, again, a little bit more of a better strategy. Where I feel like he could have used the plasma grenade a little bit more, maybe a little bit more of the missiles as well, and try to use the beams a little bit better. And yeah, the first round's a little bit long, but the second one is not too long at all. Um, so so I okay, so I think at this point I had his strategy down, where he likes to take a okay, he likes to take jabs, but then kind of runs away a little bit. So at this point, like, again, I had his strategy down, but I just didn't know like what else he was gonna try and do. At this point, I just wanted to get up close and just take him out, essentially. Just go, basically, just go all out. Use what I pretty much analyzed from the first round, and basically just tear him up here. As you can see, Like this match is definitely going faster, and and I think as well the strategy doesn't work as well in his favor because he's not as good of a Mechagodzilla as we can see here. Like, or as I can see here, like I feel like if he went with Varen, this would have been easier for him. Or okay, I feel like this would have been a lot more difficult for me at least because Varen is definitely a great monster to use. However, I personally think that if he went with Varen, this would have been easier. So overall, I don't think he's bad, but I do think him going with Varen was the better thing to do. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next match, which is actually like a switch where I am Crystalac and my opponent is Mechagearus. So, my opponent here is kind of like me, a little bit more aggressive, if not a little bit more, as you can see here. I think what they were going to do was they were to like take my energy and they use like I want to say it's like a I don't know what you would call it. Like it's just like this big old ball of energy. That's what you use if you have more than or just two um, bars of energy. And that was difficult because my opponent was really in my face. And yeah, as you can see here, I was struggling just a little bit, but not too much. Um, it was pretty even, if I could be truthful. And it was my first time using Crystalac, competitively, so I thought I was gonna lose this match, to be honest with you, but I was just trying to make sure that I was keeping a calm mind and I didn't rush into things. And using I guess it's called the outburst or just burst, I don't know. It's a really good attack for defense, and I needed to be a little bit more defensive this time around because my opponent was hyper offensive, and I needed to not just use a, a very good defense, but using good attacks that can that benefit my defense. So that's why I like the previous two, or the previous Mechaguzzle, the first one. I feel like using the helicopter arm attack would have added that defense factor, is because for one thing, when you're being defensive, you have to be able to complement that defense um, with your attacks. And as you can see here, I made a really, really bad call by using a rock. I don't think I needed to do that. But what can you do? Past is the past, you gotta own up to it, and now I don't like to use rocks. So anyway, so the second match here I think was a little bit easier because I knew the strategy. And I didn't use the outburst, even at 1. You can still use it at 1, but it's really recommended if you have 2. So I think I was being a little bit more careful this time around because I know what the strategy is. Like he's trying to take my energy, and I was just making sure that I could also use mine by not wasting it either. Like I could use it for defense too. And I always catch him on that. So I use the offensive strategy to my advantage. And I had to really be careful here because he was going berserk mode, and you can do so much with that berserk mode in such a little time. Fortunately for me, I managed to get that berserk mode out, and he's already at 2 while I'm still at full. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I won already, but the tide can still change. And as you can see here, he was catching on that I was catching him when he gets close. So I needed to also make sure that I could not only use my defense with weapons, but also with my physical attacks too. By making sure I could punish him by uh, by using the head charge, I guess. And he was up in the air, and I managed to catch him. So there we go. And now it's game, set, and match. So very good. Very good opponent for sure. Alright, so here we go. The final battle of 2017. So, yeah, I cut out some of the footage because it was just me trying to choose. So, as you can see here, I am Mecha King Ghidorah, and my opponent is Megalon. So, this is the final battle, and this is the champion of 2016. So, I was... okay, now, so my first thought was to be on the defensive, because if I could be on the defensive and use my shield, I would be able to deflect the bombs. However, I think my opponent was unintentionally blocking that sort of strategy. And yeah, but now I had to take the air because taking the air was probably my only way of beating him. Bar that my tail wasn't touching the bombs, because the bombs will reach you if you're in the air. So do be careful with that. So I think okay, no, so I think the champion here is a little bit more offensive. Well, okay. They're still defensive, but I feel like they're a little bit more defensive than my than the Megalon in 2015. Though I think they're a little bit more probably a little bit more difficult because especially for Mulgiras, because I think if I was playing Mulgira here, I probably would have lost because the strategy is very effective, and I was using a strategy that I used back in 2014, a tournament that I did lose, but it was a battle that I won with. So Mecha King Ghidorah here, my main strategy was at first to try and be on the ground and use a shield. However, now that I find this flying strategy to be very useful, against Megalon especially, I was able to really counter him down. So flying and the tail attacks are definitely useful. And since he's a grounded monster, he could always jump, but there is a possibility that I could just tail attack him to death. And yeah, so the first one goes to me, and that's just the start of this pretty cool battle. So once again, I'm on the defensive, but he goes straight for a building. So I could already tell he was getting desperate for a victory. However, I managed to block it fully, and I just follow him along. So he uses the bomb, and he uses it again, pretty much getting me at a pretty bad health, and he knocks me into the bomb. This is where things are starting to go a little bit south, and I need to get out of there fast. So, and right now, like, he has me on the ropes. So, currently, I'm a little bit in a sticky situation. Excuse me. And now at this point, I needed to make sure that I was staying in the air, as much as I can, because if I stay on the ground, I'm not going to win this. So basically, I needed to stay in the air, keep on using my tail attacks, and when he uses the bomb, that's when that's an opening. And the tasers definitely helped too. So good on the there. And I was trying to use a building. Great. Something I don't like to do. Yep, there I go, using a building again. So I think he could have grappled me there. And that would have done some damage. So overall, I think his strategy's not bad, but I do think he needs to kind of take notes from how my opponent was before, and use and use the bombs as sort of a defense too. Like you could use that to your defense. But yeah, as you can see here, he's really getting me. And that's weird. Okay, that's really weird. So at this point, it was starting to become neck and neck, but I was having the advantage, and I don't know why I did that. Yeah, big mistake. So, and that's really weird too. Then okay, that's so weird because the game always does that. Like you'll have one moment where you don't take a bar, and then there's a moment where you do take a bar. I don't get it, but anyway. So, I think at this point he just kind of gives up. I think, cause he was on his last leg. Yeah. So, there we go. So, so very good game to my opponent. I do think though that so overall, I think my opponent was still very good. Don't get me wrong. My opponent was still a really good player, but I feel like a little bit of strategy change would help you in the long run, especially getting people like out of the air. I think he wasn't expecting it because I don't think he fought someone like that. So definitely try and use like your aerial attacks, like your kicks, because the kicks will definitely help you in the long run. Or heck, even try jumping yourself and get them out of the air. So overall, I thought this battle was also very impactful to me because now I regained my title, and yeah, but in 2018 I did lose, so there is that. I made a very bad mistake of using Mothra. That's all you need to know. But anyway, now on to 2019. Alright, so 2019. So my first opponent was, once again, the champion of 2016, who was also the champion of 2018. So now, so before this match, I want to get this out of the way first. Before the match, our matchups were getting mixed up for whatever reason. And so, he was a little bit irritated, so if you see his playstyle here and why he's uh, like really rushing and doesn't look like and doesn't look like he has a strategy of some sort, then it's probably because his mindset was just on the match, and that he was just very agitated, and I can understand why. So anyway, so back to what I okay. So back to the match. So I'm Mecha King Ghidorah once again, and he's Kiryu. This time he picks Kiryu, I guess, because I guess Megalon didn't work, so he's going for Kiryu, and it kind of works a little bit. As you can see here, yeah, and that's one thing I had to comment about Kiryu is that those missiles, oh lord. So something he was okay. So something I could instantly tell was that the shield was not going to be useful. And yeah, there I go with my tail attack again. So at this point, I had to be so careful because his knife attack is definitely very crucial to the match because it can end me in like a split second, as well as his tail attacks. So again, I had to be so careful because and kind of keep my distance as well. Because Kiryu is not a bad character to use in a tournament. You just have to be able to use him of carefully. Oh yeah, and these matches I think they're limited on time. Like this one was only like 3 minutes. So yeah, as you can see here, the time is really running out pretty quick. So yeah, and I try to grapple him, but it doesn't work. Okay, so there's really not much to commentate on because And for some reason, I managed to get out of the grapple. I'm not too sure how. But yeah, so I take the so I take the win there. In the second match, yeah, he does the same thing as he did before, which was go for a building, because he again, like I could tell if I could tell if you're going for a building, you're getting desperate at that point. Like it's not to, I mean, it's not to say that you're bad or anything. It's just that's just what it is. Is that you're getting desperate, you need that good damage, and you need it now. Because, yeah, your attacks are going to do damage, but they're not going to do the damage that you need in order to win. So that's why I say people that use buildings, they are starting to get a little bit desperate, and I will admit, I do get a little bit like rushy, and I do get a little bit desperate myself if I need that damage. And, okay. He does question why the building doesn't, I guess, hit me right there is because the building was already destroyed at that point. So I think that's the reason why it didn't hit me. That's probably the only explanation I have for that. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure. And then there's that which I kind of I don't know what was going on there. So anyway, so back to the match. Yeah, again, there's not much to commentate on because a lot of emotions were going on through his head, and I don't think he had a clear mind of what was going ahead, of what was going on. So, pretty much, I think he gave up once again because, yeah, he just gave up. Nothing much he could have done. I was very close to full health, so I take the win. So yeah, but very sorry to my opponent who was very was not in the right state of mind. All right, so now on to the second match of this tournament. I am Megagearus, and my opponent is Biollante. So, all right. So after the first match, I was kind of feeling a little bit like I just felt regret that I won that, and that was pretty much what I was feeling at the time. But I couldn't stay on that emotion. I had to keep going. So unfortunately for me, I picked a really bad angle, so you can't really see the health bars, unfortunately. So that's my bad. So, not to get to the match, it is a little bit blurry, unfortunately, but at least you could kind of make it out. So, my opponent Biollante, this was a first for me. Well, okay, you know what? Not the first, but I actually fought this this person before, and they are so good against Biollante. Probably the best I've seen thus far. So I had to change up my strategy a little bit by it being very offensive for sure. Like as you can see here, I'm offensive and and actually I'm getting up like in the air, which is something I usually don't do with Megagearus. In fact, that's such a rare thing for me to do. So I said now okay. The reason I'm very offensive now is because the Biollante, she is so defensive that you can do so much with her. And you can stay in that one spot and do so much damage just from being there and using various combos and such. Excuse me. Um, so, and I think, okay, I think the reason why I'm a little bit on the defensive here is because I was getting lower on it, on health. And picking Biollante is a very good pick because not only does she have good attacks, but she also has very high HP. She, along with King Ghidorah and Space Godzilla, have the most health in the game, being at 6 bars, and it's definitely hard to take out for sure. So, so I needed to make sure that I was careful, not to be too reckless because I have less health than them regardless of which character I picked, well, Space Godzilla and King Ghidorah would have been the same health, but I digress. But it would, well, okay, I guess I won there by being very offensive. So this is kind of going back on how the matches were in last year, in 2017, I think, where I was really offensive, but now I think I'm a little bit on the defensive because she could always change up her strategy. That's the thing. You can always, you can always change your strategy type just by playing around, and you can analyze your opponent. And I really like this player, Biollante, because she is defensive, but she also has a really good mix of offense too. And I like that. I like a good balance of all of them. Do I use a building here? Okay, she used a building. Okay, and yeah, that right there, Biollante's building throw, that throw is deadly because it boomerangs around and it could definitely hurt. And there's a person walking in the way. Lovely. Okay. So, and yeah, there is another person that gets in the way, I think, in the final battle. But anyway, yeah, so this match was definitely fun because I did not expect to fight a Biollante like this. And it was kind of cool seeing this very balanced sort of Biollante. And yeah, sure, like I'm really offensive as Mechaguirus, but it was refreshing to see a monster like this. And she is definitely a good player, I think. If I didn't use Mechaguirus, I think I would have lost, like, regardless. I mean, I used Mechagodzilla on her, and she actually beat me. So big props to this player here, because she did so well, and I think she could have gone really far into the tournament, if not win. And I think she could have been a good champion too. But I think in a few seconds I win. I think this is it because I go into Berserk mode. Yep. So I want to really give props to my opponent here. If you're watching this, huge props to you because you are a really good opponent. Alright, so here we go, the final battle, and we are getting on with it. So, my opponent was Titanosaurus, and I was Mechaguirus. So, here we go. This is the final battle of the video and of 2019. So, this one was was pretty much for the title of champion. So, let's get to it. So, I want to comment first before we begin. This guy beat the runner-up of 2015, the guy who was Varan. Now, the guy who used Varan used an Orga instead of Varan. Crucial mistake, because I think Orga versus Titanosaurus is a little bit one-sided, because Titanosaurus, I think, would win a lot of percent of the time. So, just a little bit of info there. So I was using Mechaguirus, and yeah, as you can see here, my opponent has it's a very basic strategy, but it's very effective too. Being able to jump and then using the slamming, or using the tail slam, I guess you could say, like that there, like jumping and then slamming your tail. That is such a good it's a strategy it's kind of basic, like I just said, but it's pretty effective because you can guaranteed like take away a bar of health if you have them at the right position. But thankfully I managed to break through it. But let's just say that the next match is not going to be as I guess easy to me. So here we go with the second match, and I think this guy was really catching on to my strategy of being a little bit more defensive than I usually am. So and And again, like, I have to be careful because the Titanosaurus is a pretty strong monster if you could use him correctly. Um, so again, like, it's really just those tail attacks that I had to be careful of. And when he runs and then uses the tail attack, it's deadly because it can reach me at any point. And he uses the jumping to his advantage, and that's very good. That's a good strategy to use. Because being able to jump and then using your attacks will catch your opponents off guard, and they can, I mean, like, it can easily overwhelm you, and it's a decent strategy to use. Now again, I'm a little bit defensive because I didn't want to rush in and just lose health constantly, because at this point I was losing health and I was gonna lose this round and potentially lose the other round. So I had to be careful, and I had to use critical thinking, because really, like, if I just kept on like defending all the time, it wasn't gonna do me like any good. So I needed to be careful. I needed to think straight, and I needed to keep my mind calm. So, yep, there's the other guy that gets in the way. I don't like it when people get in the way. Alright. So anyway, so at this point, like, he keeps on spamming the strategy, and he tries to do it to me, so I just do it back. And yeah, there we go, once again. So yeah, so it's pretty much neck and neck, but I think, yep, there goes my Berserk mode, and I think this is where it ends, and boom, it ends. So that was it, and okay, so one of the comments of the video said that, like, okay, if this guy got in, then the Nier players must have been trash. No, I wouldn't say that, because I think my two opponents that I played against were good. The champion, the Biollante player, and then now the Titanosaurus player. And if I could be honest, like, everyone I faced here was good. I do think there could be improvements be made, but I do think that every one of the opponents that I played against was good. They had a good strategy. There could be a little bit more work, but I don't think any of the players are trash. So that's just me. I personally like to say that everyone has a way of playing, and you know what? Like, their play style is how they play. And as we can see here, it put me on the edge sometimes. Sometimes I was a little bit like uneasy. But you know what? As the years go by, I get stronger and I get smarter with the way I am. I improve the way I play by losing. The first tournament I played in, I didn't get past the second round against a Mechagearus, and I was playing as Mechaginodora for nearly the entire time. The second tournament, I was almost going to the finals, and I was third place. So, I mean, I got stalled out of that match, but that just meant that I needed to get even stronger. Like, I needed to play smarter as well and use tactics. So, and then the third tournament, which was 2015, I won that one. 2018, I also won because I was using critical thinking and strategy. 2018, unfortunately, I made a crucial mistake of picking a character that I was not familiar with, and it costed me the match. So, and then this tournament, I won because, once again, I used critical thinking and the monsters that I was comfortable with. So overall, basically, here's what I learned from every single tournament that I have lost in. The first one is, you're not going to win your first tournament. Like it's not going to be a guaranteed win if you go into the tournament. Like, first. Like, you are going to lose, no matter how good you train, because I trained like a madman the first time that I went, and guess what? I lost. But that's okay, because you know what? At the very least, I can learn. So, so that was the lesson for the first tournament. The second tournament was I needed to get stronger. Just simply put, I needed to get stronger, and I needed to think a little bit more. Because that was a tournament where, like, there was a lot of times, and I still won those times, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that I could stall out the time of 3 minutes, which is what happened here in 2019. And basically that's what happened here in 2019 was I got stronger, I got tactically better, and that's how I win every single time, even though there's only 3 minutes on the clock. So, and I mean, my training is difficult. Like, my training will not be for those that are just casual players. This is hardcore training. And I hate to brag, but it's training that makes me better. And the training that I give myself, it's hard, and then sometimes I'll get frustrated with myself. Maybe because, or okay, at first maybe it's because of the game, but no, it's because I'm just not doing well. I'm not strategizing correctly. I'm not analyzing. I'm not thinking straight. It's just those things. If I do get mad, it's because of that. It's because later on I'm going to realize that I didn't use my head and I wasn't in a clear mind. And you have to be in a clear mind in order to get better at the game. So overall, and then the third match, or the third tournament I lost in, which was 2018, it was because I didn't use a monster that I was comfortable with, and I didn't practice enough. So basically, that's basically the 3 things I learned. Knowing that you're going to lose, using strategy, and not relying on just strength alone, and being able to practice with the monsters that you want to practice with, and train. So those are the 3 things that I put in. Do not overestimate or underestimate. Do not think that brute strength alone is going to get you to win. And do not think that using a monster that you're like unfamiliar with, that's good, you're going to win with. Those are the 3 things that I think about every single day and I practice with. Maybe I'll show like what my practice style is, but for the time being, I feel like that is it. So, and pretty much to anyone that I have fought and you are watching this, all I gotta say is thank you. Thank you for having me as your opponent. It truly is an honor to fight people. To fight people that practice. To fight people that have the courage to even enter the tournament, and to those who play Unleashed, because I know Unleashed is not the best game. I know it isn't. But I enjoy it. The people who play it enjoy it, and I'm just glad I could be a part of. And I'm just glad I could be part of a smaller group that does play the game and enjoys it like I do. So thank you to those people. And that is the end of this video. I'll see you guys later. Take care. And see you next year for G-Fest.